Careful,
Perfect.
do not cover ants. Are much smaller than usual. Meh. Alrighty. Hi everyone, welcome to another... Was that week? Was that a week intro?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Capes of the Round Table. As always, my name is James, and this guy's name is...
Justin. I thought you weren't going to let me say my name. I was going to be real mad.
Yeah, we're back here with another episode today, and we are going to be covering the topic of Ant-Man's role in the MCU.
Yes.
For those of you who haven't seen it, right off the bat, we may end up inadvertently putting a couple spoilers in there. We don't want to ruin anything for you.
It's definitely going to be spoilers. Spoiler warning.
So if you don't, definitely, so spoilers. Sure. Not maybe definitely, like definitely.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah, maybe definitely, probably. Spoilers. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out so you can then watch our video. That's the only reason you should see it though, so you can watch this video.
We've been getting mixed reviews, but we love it, and that's all that matters, so you should listen to it.
That is our opinion, is all that you should listen to, so.
If you want to be our friend, just like Ant-Man, we can be friends.
Yeah. No, we're friends.
If you don't like it, we can still be friends. We just be less friends, but we won't tell you. Alright, so pretty much what we're going to be discussing is different elements of the Ant-Man film and the Ant-Man character and what they can bring to the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Which I think is a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of potential. It's a very... One of our points will be about Scott Lang, him being somewhat of an open-ended character, and like...
Don't give it away.
It's too late. I spoiled the own episode.
You spoiled the episode of spoilers.
Honestly, it's the first MCU movie in a while that's had a post-credit scene that actually like can lead to other like, ooh, what's gonna happen next with those? Like,
yeah, in a while.
Okay, because think about it. Age of Ultron, it didn't even have one, did it?
It had a credit scene, but then it was like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Right, and it's like, oh,
and it's like we knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a long ass time since we've gotten one that's going to like lead into the next movie.
Mid-credit and post-credit, both mid-credits and post-credit scenes definitely like are two different awesome avenues that they've created right there. So
yeah, absolutely. And the cool thing about Ant-Man is like a lot of people are going into it with the expectations they had for like Avengers, and it's like you can't do that. Like with Ant-Man, the expectations I went in with were the same expectations I went in back in 2008 when I was seeing Iron Man for the first time. Pretty much no expectations.
Yeah.
Because it's a character that has not been treated well in the comics until as of very recently.
Right. And not even necessarily not treated well in the comics, just not treated with the same relevance and favor and like just people loving the character like Spidey, Hulk, X-Men.
Yeah, right. As like the main properties.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Ant-Man was one of the founding Avengers. So you'd think.
Which has been part of their selling point a lot for this movie, which is cool.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you think about it, like, they originally, if you guys don't know, Ant-Man was supposed to be in Phase 1.
Yeah, he was supposed to be, wasn't he supposed to be like one of their first
He was supposed to
movies?
be like their first movie.
Yeah, which would have been weird. Which I'm not gonna lie, I don't think at the time, I don't think that would have worked.
It wouldn't have sold.
It definitely would not have had the success Iron Man did.
So let's just jump into the first topic.
Jump right into the first topic. So, spoiler. Ant-Man at one point in the film is he needs to go subatomic. I don't necessarily need to spoil the reason why, but he has to go subatomic with.
Well, if someone has gone this far after we've had like 50 spoiler warnings, then you know you're getting this spoiled for yourself.
Right. Yeah. So he goes subatomic. Hank Pym states earlier in the movie and warns him about going subatomic.
That like no one's ever come back.
That's how Janet Van Dyne was how he lost her. Is that she had to go subatomic for a mission and didn't come back. That realm, even when Hank Pym just mentions it in the movie before Scott Lang actually goes into the subatomic realm, quantum realm is what it is. I knew that's gotta be a tie-in for Doctor Strange.
Absolutely, yeah. We gave each other such excited looks when we
whenever it was like
quantum realm, we were like,
I was like, yeah. So I mean, definite connection to Doctor Strange, but with Civil War coming up.
In the original Civil War comic, something that was very prominent was a prison that comes up a lot in the Marvel comics, right?
A decent amount, yeah.
It's one of its names is the Negative Zone. What I'm thinking is that because in the Civil War comic there's this kind of other dimensional prison
where they store
any
of the superheroes that are anti-registration.
Right. It's known as Prison 42. And what I'm thinking is that that the quantum realm would be the substitution for Prison 42 because of the fact that Prison 42 was created by both Hank Pym and Reed Richards, and since they don't have the right to Reed Richards, who is Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four,
it could be Hank Pym, Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Maybe Bruce Banner.
Yeah. They, like, I think now that they know a little more about the quantum realm, I think Hank Pym's going to try and manipulate it a little more, trying to get Janet back, but also trying to use it as a place to contain
Didn't even
criminals.
think about this until now, but along with all that idea, at first I was like, wait, but why would Hank Pym be helping Iron Man, most assumingly? If they end up doing Civil War like they did comics, which it is going to be, superheroes registering themselves or remaining free agents, more or less. Hank Pym is just based on his comment being like, oh, maybe the Avengers are too busy dropping skitties out of the sky. He makes out skitties.
Skittles out of the sky.
No, Skitty I think is a Pokemon. Just like
Skitty, yeah.
Like a bunch of, like, Pokemon.
Throw a picture of Skitty, future Justin. Thanks.
It could just be that, like, he sees that he's like, oh, Stark, we have more sense than your father did, or some shit like that, and Stark's trying to, like, even though he's sort of the bad guy in Civil War.
There's probably gonna be some sassy sins of the father line in there from Hank Pym.
Yeah, and Hank Pym, I could totally see him helping with the development of something like that if they do make some sort of prison out of the quantum realm or negative zone, whatever they end up, that I could totally see him siding with registration. Even if he doesn't put on a suit at all, I could totally see Hank Pym just being on the side of registration. So that would be cool to see. Another definite avenue that they have, open-ended part that they can manipulate and move forward is Scott Lang's whole story. Basically, this whole fresh start for him at the end of this movie being Ant-Man. At the very end of the movie, his friend Luis tells him that someone told him that Falcon said, that Falcon, to whatever request or inquiry that Scott Lang made to the Avengers and Falcon after his incident with them, the reply was yes.
Yeah.
So, assuming that, Ant-Man will I could see him being on the side of Cap and Falcon and all that in Civil War, and also bringing some comic relief to the Avengers team, because when you think about it, Falcon's got some quips, War Machine's got some quips, but other than that, the team that we see assembled at the end of Age of Ultron,
and in a non-Joss Whedon run movie, there's gonna be a lot less quips from everyone, because if you think about it, in Age of Ultron, like, Cap had the most quips. That was weird.
Right.
Like, as much as I loved it, because just hearing Cap be like, "Huh, I am old, but I look young," it's just it's like his whole thing.
Yeah, no, it's
like,
great.
I'm a capsicle.
Yeah.
But like, and Black Widow with her like, "Am I always picking up after you boys?" and whatever, and so like everyone had their quips in Age of Ultron.
True.
But it's gonna be good because I think the Russo brothers are gonna bring a more serious. I don't want to say grounded because I hate the word grounded. Tone-wise, I'll say it's gonna be a lot more grounded, like in like political drama in a weird way. Political action, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely.
With all of that going on, to have a character like Scott Lang come in and be comic relief is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, and be refreshing. Whereas
in Ant-Man, everyone was funny.
Yeah,
and like while that was good,
everyone was funny, but he was also like,
he was still like the odd one out a little bit.
He was the odd one out. He was being thrust into a world that he didn't even know existed and all that.
Right, yeah.
Put into a league with Avengers and people who have powers and all that. And whereas Vision's a synthetic creature who has a little bit of sense of humor, but not really. He's pretty stoic.
Yeah.
Well, Scarlet Witch might have some quippery, but she's
in a dark
also
place right now.
Scarlet Witch, probably not going to be hearing much quips from her. War Machine and Falcon both, I think, taking a little bit more of a serious. Falcon more than War Machine. War Machine definitely will like hit.
War Machine's just sassy. He's always been sassy.
Yeah.
But he's more sassy just towards Tony.
Right, and that's it.
He's never sassy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's usually typically serious if you think about it.
Yeah, and then Cap and Falcon definitely have
Cap
a
and
little bit
Falcon
more
will joke together, but not.
And also spoilers, but
Falcon and Ant-Man will joke around.
Yeah.
Just because it's funny.
Yeah, just because it's funny and they like how they.
Do you think there'll be some line where like Ant-Man threatens to tell Cap about what happened?
Right, I hope so. Post-credit scene, we see Cap, Falcon, and a newly found Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Ant-Man, maybe they use him to help rewire and like bring his memories back. Think about that.
Holy shit, that's fucked up.
Have him go in his brain or some shit. Cap says, we know we can't tell Tony, and then Falcon says, I think I know a guy.
Yeah.
And he's definitely referring to Ant-Man when he says that, or Scott Lang. So I think they definitely are going to bring him in at some point and have him be in a key role, perhaps in Winter Soldier's revival or whatever. So even if you want to, again, spoilers, he goes subatomic, and if you want to kind of explain how we think, it's sort of definitely foreshadowing for...
it's foreshadowing for Giant Man.
Yeah.
Of course.
He goes subatomic,
It's
but then
he switches out the regulator from going small to big. And then
he's got these discs that Hank Pym makes him. One blue makes things grow, red makes things shrink. So he puts the blue one in. And
so when he puts the blue one in, he goes from subatomic size
to
regular size. So like, if you see the movie, that scale is ridiculous. That scene of just him shrinking to subatomic goes on for a really long time. Probably won't be the size of Hank Pym going regular to subatomic, but maybe regular to Ant-Man reverse. So like what Ant-Man size is to regular would be what regular size is to Giant Man. So I would be excited to see that. The next thing I guess would be where Hank Pym's story is going to go, and this I think would be more for less of a Civil War thing and more of an Ant-Man sequel.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, Hank Pym, when he starts snapping a little bit after wearing the Ant-Man suit for too long,
is the original Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, so. Pretty much after he beats his wife the one time, he's like, "What have I done?" And he's like, "Time to be evil, whatever." Right, and then he becomes evil. It would be interesting to see Hank Pym become the villain or one of the villains. We'll go into that in a second. But to see him become the anti-Scott Lang.
Yeah.
Because Scott Lang, I think, strongly represents not only Scott Lang's beginning, but also represents Hank Pym's beginning. I think Hank Pym is trying to live vicariously through Scott Lang.
Yeah.
Because he's worn the Ant-Man suit so many times that he is starting to lose it a little bit. So he's like, I need you to become the Ant-Man.
Right.
And then now he's got fresh blood in Scott Lang. Maybe I feel like either if it has something to do with the Registration Act, or has something to do with Tony Stark, or has something to do with the fact he's jealous of Scott Lang, I feel like it's going to come down to the fact that Hank Pym's going to finally snap and become Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening, and him just seeing the technology of his, that his protege came up with, seeing that and just going even more mad,
Yeah.
Maybe, there could be so many different things of him, his reasoning and his motives for putting on the suit. So our other point about Hank Pym was, and I really, at this point, since they've made Ant-Man, I would have liked to see them incorporate this in the Ant-Man movie, just a little nod toward it, but at this point I doubt they're going to make any reference to it. Obviously, in the comics, Hank Pym is the one who creates Ultron. I think it would have been cool to at least show a little bit of involvement that he may have had in Age of Ultron, when Ultron escapes Stark Tower through the internet and he goes to the warehouse in Sokovia where Strucker was, right, initially. Zaps there and starts mass manufacturing bodies and duplicates of himself using robot templates that seemingly were already there being built by Hydra. So I would have liked to see some sort of thing like back in the day, Hank Pym and S.H.I.E.L.D. don't have the best relationship, that for some reason he's out of spite sells Hydra or gives Hydra some of his technology, technology, robotics, schematics, something it doesn't even have to be that he was involved in the programming and the AI that Tony Stark makes in Age of Ultron. Right. Just the printing.
It could work. Even if they backtracked it, even if they retconned it, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
It could still work.
Yeah.
I just want some Hank Pym to Ultron connection.
Yeah,
if we don't get it, even if we don't get it, I don't care. I still want it.
So now we're gonna just chat a little bit about Wasp and what we think, where that character could go in the future. Our mid-credit scene in Ant-Man was Hank Pym showing his daughter Hope, Evangeline Lilly, the prototype for an advanced Wasp suit that Janet Van Dyne and Hank Pym had been working on years ago. So we're going to see her in the Wasp suit at some point, which I'm very excited for.
So obviously, you're right. So obviously we're going to see Hope in the Wasp suit, be that in Civil War or Infinity War or or Ant-Man 2 or whatever.
Anything.
Another very important point that we thought up is that in Ant-Man, it's been proven that the subatomic level, that the quantum realm is a place where people can come back from.
Yeah.
And if Janet Van Dyne is trapped in that realm, and Scott Lang can travel into and out of that realm, maybe Hank Pym is like out there trying to find. We touched on this very, very briefly earlier, but like maybe that's a thing that Hank Pym is trying to do now, is trying to get Janet back, because now he knows that that's a place you can go.
Oh yeah, and they show at
from.
the very end of the film, he's like, "Is it possible?" And he's all, you know.
Yeah,
so,
he's all
So
he's
I think we definitely might see him, and maybe that'll be a path towards his breaking and his
Yellow Jacket
villain, yellow jacketiness, and just general furthering of his apathy for whatever, you know, just negativity of his just craze of trying to find her and get her back. So
right, yeah. And so like if he does succeed, or if she comes back on her own accord, or whatever, however it happens, we are both pretty convinced that she will come back. And what would you say? Janet Van Dyne is going to come back in some capacity.
I can see it happening.
But if they do a prequel, I would dig that.
Yeah.
If they did a whole Janet Van Dyne story up to that ending,
yeah,
I'd be okay with that. Or if they did a prequel comic up to that ending and then did a sequel with older Janet, coming back from the quantum realm, however.
Or maybe not old.
Yeah, or maybe
she'd come
time
back
stops
and she'd be
in
normal.
that realm.
Yeah,
maybe Doctor Strange reaches in and pulls her out. You never know.
You know, in some capacity, I could see Janet Van Dyne coming back, and what we were thinking, could see possibility of Hope losing control a little bit and becoming Red Queen. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Maybe Janet Van Dyne comes back and reclaims the mantle of Wasp. There could be tons of different directions.
That's what we were talking about. Is that
the
like
Wasp
what a really
story
cool
is very, very open-ended.
Very open-ended. So is the Ant-Man story, man.
Yeah. So is Scott Lang. It's a great setup movie for more to come in the MCU. Definitely. Yeah. I hope they don't sleep on their opportunities with Hank Pym, because Scott Lang is a really cool character and everything, but I'd like to see him used in a very, not innocent way, but like he's kind of an everyday guy. He's just a guy. I'm really excited to see him.
Save Hank Pym for the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Don't make Scott Lang the crazy one. Don't make Scott Lang your surrogate Hank Pym.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely use Hank Pym's craziness in every continuity.
Yeah, Michael Douglas can do it.
Yeah, definitely. He can definitely go do the crazy.
We saw Michael Douglas do the crazy.
In what?
In the beginning of Ant-Man.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, "How's your face?" I want to just ask people that, "Hey, how's your face?" But yeah, so we were talking about like what would be a really cool setup for an Ant-Man sequel would be Scott Lang Ant-Man and Janet Van Dyne Wasp versus Hank Pym Ant-Man and Hope Van Dyne Red Queen. That was a mouthful.
To see the two people who mentored Scott Lang.
Yeah. Now be on the opposite side of that.
Mentor you to be
the Ant-Man.
As you can tell, definitely a big point of our Ant-Man episode here today is that it's a very open-ended movie with a lot of open-ended, awesome potential plot points that...
I don't want to be too ambitious with it, because I have a tendency to be really ambitious with superhero movies. See every analysis and predictions we've ever done ever. But I think what is going to have, like how open-ended Ant-Man is, a Marvel movie hasn't been this open-ended since Iron Man. We haven't got a chance to explore so much of the MCU since Iron Man 1, when Nick Fury came out at the end and was like, hey, let's open this up to the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, to be able to say, like, or I guess Guardians too. Like,
super awesome.
You could say some things with Guardians were open the world up to like the cosmic realm.
Cosmic side, but also that's a whole other thing, and to open up a whole new
story. I guess
open up way more story back on Earth is great. Like, they haven't done that. I mean, Hulk sort of did that, but then it sort of just dead ended.
And if somehow Universal does give the distribution rights back to Marvel, or Marvel and Universal work out a deal to make more Hulk movies, then we'll have a whole new section of all Gamma monsters, Gamma characters, and that'll be great.
Yeah.
But for right now, I'm just happy to say that with Ant-Man, even though some people still have their opinion that it's not great, it's undeniably
good.
It's undeniably good, and it's undeniably going to open up a lot more story for the MCU.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Storytelling, new characters and everything. The only cameo that we get, or serious cameo, is one has only just been introduced in the last two movies. So
Falcon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, like it's not like in this one they were relying on a lot of other like pre-known things.
I mean,
This movie alone was
they
not,
mentioned
was
the
a new
Avengers. They
storytelling
showed
opportunity,
the new Avengers facility. They
Yeah,
showed
yeah.
a bunch of Stark logos.
Mm-hmm.
They showed Falcon. But I mean, those things are undeniably in the universe. So
Right.
I mean, it's whatever.
And it's nice to see after so long them not trying to keep being like, oh, here's Cap, here's Thor, here's Iron Man, like here are
Yeah,
familiar
like
faces,
the
you know what
core
I mean?
four
Yeah.
of the Avengers.
Yeah, it's nice to see that, like, you know, Falcon's not that he's like a minor character. He's sort of a minor
He's
character.
kind of a minor character, yeah.
Right, but to see him representing the group of the Avengers is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. To see Falcon representing the Avengers and being like, that makes sense is great.
Yeah, exactly.
And not being like, why is Falcon there and not like Captain America?
Yeah.
Like,
That's cool. Yeah, now that I'm thinking, they
Yeah.
very subtly are getting people used to the fact that there are
other
a new
Avengers.
team of Avengers.
yeah, it makes me excited.
Yeah.
Slipping cameos like that into movies is gonna get people really pumped about when the main guys leave. But that is a story for another day. I
Indeed.
believe.
Thank you for joining us for another episode around the Cape.
Around the Cape Stable.
Around the Cape.
Welcome
Stable.
back to Around the Cape Stable.
Until next time, I'm James.
I'm Justin.
And keep wearing your capes.